What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the KFS pregame show. GMAC XJ, MS MLM. What acronym should we use for you, Mensa?
I have no clue yet.
You changed it from KFS hat model, so that could have rolled right off the tongue. But instead, we're gonna just go with Mensa. There you go.
KFSHM.
There
Okay.
you go.
There we
We
go.
are here to preview the Knicks' upcoming matchup, a Friday night Knicks matchup against the Chicago Bulls. The Knicks come in losers of one straight, a new phenomenon in Knicks land. We lost a game, but we're here to hopefully preview the first of a new winning streak tonight against the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls come in winners of their last two, a different state than we found them the last time the Knicks played them, which was exactly a week ago, Friday night in Chicago. The Knicks also come in at 18-14 at sixth place in the Eastern Conference. We're going to get to betting and sweating and do our little preview in just a second. I'm very glad XJ is here tonight, as well as you, Mensa, but you and I have already talked about this. So, Zach LaVine, here's the deal. I have said that's the panic trade. Now, this was like 3 weeks ago when I thought a panic trade might be the only way out of the rut that the Knicks were in. So, the only pregame question I really have as we welcome Zach LaVine to Madison Square Garden as an opponent, just let's have the conversation real quick. A brief one, not fully detailed one. But you seem a little more open to the idea of bringing Zach LaVine in than I was, at least. So, XJ, your thoughts on Zach LaVine and why it would be okay if the Knicks explored a trade like that.
Yeah, I appreciate the floor here to kind of explain my perspective. So
Yes, please.
my perspective is that I'd be interested in it for the right price. The right price being completely dirt cheap for almost nothing, like the Bulls giving him away.
Mm-hmm.
So now we had, KFS had a guest, Jason Pat, recently, who covers the Bulls and, does an amazing job. The interview was awesome. He was a great guest. I just had one issue with the interview, which is basically that he was turning his nose up at the idea of like Obi and an unprotected first for Zach LaVine. And also like at the two Lakers first for Zach LaVine. Like, I just think Bulls folks are delusional about his value at this point. Like the risk involved in taking him on is tremendous. And the contract
Hold on.
is
Look at Mensa's name. Look at Mensa's name.
I didn't even notice. Zach LaVine trade slander account. I mean, we should all have Zach LaVine trade slander accounts. The thing is, like, okay, I looked at his contract recently. We're talking the starting next year, 40, 43, 46, and 49, plus a 15% trade bonus. What do you think you're getting back for this player? Like the Bulls are 7 points better without him this year. I don't understand what. So when I say I'd be curious, interested, potentially I would look at a trade for Zach LaVine. I'm talking about if the Bulls are trying to get off his contract, like we just want to get off the 200 whatever it is that he's owed. If you're turning your nose up at like Obi in a first, no, I wouldn't even think of such a, like, okay, you're keeping Zach LaVine then, because there's no chance I'm giving up real value for him. In my opinion, it's like the Bulls are lucky that a team would be willing to absorb that contract and kind of let them reset their from a financial standpoint. So yeah, I mean, I even saw on Twitter somebody was floating like Emmanuel Quickly plus 3 unprotected firsts plus the Bucks pick, and Bulls fans in the comments like, I don't know, I'd have to think about that, but I'm leaning towards no. Like, what? Like, this is delusion. This is absolute delusion. So, like I said, to reiterate, my position is I'd be interested in taking a flyer, taking a risk in absorbing the contract, right? Like that's the big risk in of itself. Because if he can bounce back to that player he was a couple years ago, we're talking top 15, top 10 offensive players in the NBA, and you're just paying him, then that's fine. And maybe the knee will give out and he'll just be a bust. And that's something I would consider. But you're talking about trying to kind of pull real value from the Knicks in order to get him and take on the contract. No, I'm completely out on that.
Important clarification then, that we both see the value, that what his correct value is. And it's not, I was very high on Donovan Mitchell the idea of a LaVine trade, I think, has been framed as like, we'll just give the Donovan Mitchell package for Zach LaVine. And he's 4 years older, has a very bad injury history. It's not something you want to invest in going into your 30s. Mensa, I don't know if you already spoiled where you lie on this with the name tag underneath your face right now, but would you like to comment, Zach LaVine trade slander account?
Yes, I would love to. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. So like, yeah, XJ is great with statistics, and I love listening to him because I agree with basically everything he says because it's always backed by facts. For me personally, I'm more deep. I like to go deeper into like the history of the game, and I cannot think of one max contract that was paid out to a losing basketball player, who has lost his entire career since he was at UCLA now, and you're giving this guy $250,000 and expecting it to work out. You have made, well, the Bulls have made a loser. And I don't mean that as in like he's not a talented basketball player, because he's very talented, and I'm sure if he was in the right situation, he would be contributing to winning basketball. But this is a guy who has never won a playoff series from what I remember, and I'm pretty sure he's never done it. And you gave him all the money in the world, and now he's supposed to be your tone setter. How are you going to ask a loser to set your tone? It does not work. I think that it was a huge mistake with the Chicago Bulls, and that contract alone. After watching how Julius Randle behaved last year when he got his big contract, and he was the most expensive player on the team, and we had to like take our cues from him, as opposed to now where his contract is like third, and he's kind of feeling him like he's still the same guy, but he's not like as arrogant, I would say, and he doesn't have like the same like attitude. Now you're looking like, I never heard a word about Zach LaVine being having blowups in the locker room, but now that you gave him all of this money, there's a responsibility that comes with that psychologically. Like, now you're the leader. Now you're like the real deal leader. It's not DeRozan. It's not Vooch. It's you, because we gave you all the money. We said that you're the franchise, and it's not working out. It was never going to work out because they paid all of those players for a first round exit, have no draft picks. It was always going to be a bad situation, but then they compounded it by giving him that amount of money, which they had to, because you can't let Zach LaVine walk. And now the Bulls are in the situation where they're 12th in the East, and it's not tenable. And taking that contract on, especially after we just got the good vibes back, I don't want anything to do with the Zach LaVine being the most expensive basketball player on my team. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it.
I think the beauty of the 8-game winning streak is I'm no longer worried about the panic trade happening. At least personally, I don't think the panic trade is the play. Regression is happening. Like, quickly has had 2 really hot games. RJ has been great for a month. Mensa, I'm so sorry John is sick. I was ready to just let you have the mic and bring all of the heat necessary yesterday. But RJ has been great for a while. Julius, I mean, what else can we say? He's played himself into being a positive asset, whether they want to trade him or not. But he's also played himself into the All-Star conversation. I think the vibes are great right now. That the Zach LaVine conversation, we can look at it from very much a hypothetical sense. I can't think this franchise is that's the all-in play after you didn't go all in on Donovan Mitchell, you know?
Also, really quickly,
yeah,
trading for Zach LaVine, like, who are you moving? Are you moving Quentin Grimes? Are you moving RJ Barrett? Like,
well, that's the thing. It's the value. It's what you're giving up. Like,
because when I say that, I mean, like, because Zach LaVine is a wing. Our wings right now, I don't want to mess with that. I like where our wings are. I feel like Quentin Grimes is perfect for the role we need him. I feel like RJ Barrett is growing into the role that we need him to grow into. And those guys are 22 years old. And I'm supposed to give that up for Zach LaVine and his bum. No, I don't want Zach LaVine. I don't want to add a 2 guard to this team right now. I like what we have at the 2 and the 3, and I want to keep it going for as long as we can.
If you're upgrading to a superstar, he has to raise your ceiling to we're playing for a title. And I don't know that guy's not available right now. If you're telling me like Devin Booker is available, I'd think about it. But why am I saying think about it? I'm probably all in on it, but I like that that's not Zach LaVine. That's just flat out not Zach LaVine.
Just to not even play devil's advocate, but just to say the side of any kind of potential idea that we would be interested in LaVine at all. The idea is that 2 years ago, like I'm looking at EPM, which is, people know, my favorite impact metric, does an amazing job at capturing impact, uses, tracking data, player tracking data, uses box score data, uses a prior. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's a great metric. Had Zach LaVine offensively as a plus 4.4 2 years ago. This year, Giannis Antetokounmpo is a plus 4.1. Say SGA is a plus 4.6. So we're talking about a guy that, in his prime of his career so far, like right under the offensive performance of an SGA this year. Do I think that guy's going to be coming back? No. And that's what you'd be betting on.
Yeah,
that's the problem. But that's the only reason you would entertain it, is because at his peak, he was an absolute elite offensive player. I don't think that guy's coming back, and you'd be taking a chance that he would be from ages, I guess, 27 to 31 or 32, something like that. So that's still technically, an NBA player's offensive or athletic prime. But I don't think there's a good chance of that coming back. I'm just saying that that's the reason why you would even think about this kind of deal, is because of the heights that he's reached earlier in his career.
Well, this is a good time to preview the upcoming matchup against the Bulls, because the player I highlighted was Zach LaVine. And if you look at those advanced metrics, a negative 0.3 box plus minus on the season, which it's become my religion to that it matches the eye test so perfectly. That's that. Now he has gotten his efficiency numbers back up to a not horrific level, to his credit. Shooting 45% from the field, shooting 37% from 3 on 7.5 attempts. Like, he's shooting 82%. It's like he has like above the good. Like he's above average is what I'll say. 52.5 effective field goal percentage, 56.3% true shooting. I don't, by the way, the top 5 and the bottom 5, ignore them. I'm realizing now I stopped at, I only looked at Zach LaVine's numbers, so ignore those. But the Bulls come in at 13 and 18, 6 and 11 on the road, and those are what Zach LaVine's numbers are for the year. And like, I see the chat saying like maybe to bolster the second unit is somebody like that. So then, like, you're not trading what it would take to get a $200 million contract for a 6-man. I know that's not even like what the chat's suggesting. It's like that's what the Knicks should look at right now. It's guys to bolster the second unit. And here's my take. You know who bolsters the second unit? Obi Toppin. There's your addition. That's going to happen in the next few weeks. That's going to help with the second unit. It's going to be Obi Toppin. And, that's let's see what this team looks like when they have like their full 9 that they were going to go with after the Mavs game, and see what that looks like. We should mention Quentin Grimes is playing tonight. XJ, Knicks, if Quentin Grimes plays on Wednesday, are the Knicks coming in here winners of 9 straight?
That is a great question. My honest answer is no. Like, looking at how that game went.
Okay. So what would he? So he wouldn't have been able to. At bare minimum, is Siakam getting 52?
Siakam's getting 52. No one was stopping Siakam.
No one was stopping him. Okay,
absolutely not. I went back and I looked at every score that Siakam had. Nobody was stopping him. He was just elite that night, and there was no one was going to make a difference. Like,
and he was getting a whistle. Like,
he was getting a crazy whistle. He was attacking like I've never seen him attack before. I think so. They started out with Mitch on Siakam, which Siakam at center, by the way, mwah, beautiful. I love it. It's
Nick
amazing.
Nurse.
That's what I love. That's the kind of basketball I like. But Mitch was in the deepest drop I've ever seen in my life. Like, I'm like, I don't think you can defend Siakam that way. And he just got in a rhythm and never lost it, getting to the rim at will. He had at least 9 layups. Some of those were in transition, but most of them were attacks out of isolations, and everybody got it. Randall, Mitch, RJ, Sims, all got roasted. Looked like they had no chance. Grimes, I think, a little too small to really stop him from getting to the rim. Obviously, Grimes is the best perimeter defender the Knicks have, but I don't think it would have made a difference. I think he's scoring on anyone last night. So yeah. Okay,
Mensa, what is there other elements that Grimes could have helped with that even if Siakam gets 52, could the Knicks have won the other night?
I don't think so, because strategically, the Knicks like they would always pass to the middle of the floor, like right by the key. And when they did that, that Toronto defense hunted. They feasted, and Julius Randle, whenever he gets like ball pressure or like they double, he is always a second too late to react. I'm like, people are applauding Julius Randle for his process. I'm still not there yet because he's not making decisions fast enough when it comes to moving the ball. The shot chart is the shot chart. I'm happy with the shot chart, but that's the difference between Julius Randle being a borderline all-star this season. And if Julius Randle is making those decisions a second early rather than a second late, you're talking about an all NBA performer.
Right.
Like that's the difference. And he has the talent to do it. But I'm saying all that. I don't want to make this a Julius Randle thing. I'm saying that the way that the Raptors played defense, I thought we were outcoached, we were outmanned, we were outgunned. And I do think that where Quentin Grimes would have been effective is on guarding Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet, he took a bunch of shots. He took 24 shots. Quite frankly, I don't think you're taking 24 shots from Quentin Grimes just guarding you. I just don't think you have 24 opportunities to shoot. And on top of that, it gives like he was man up on Jalen Brunson. And if you have to work a little bit harder on offense, chances are your defense isn't going to be that great. We all knew going into the game that Jalen Brunson wasn't going to have a good one because Toronto is the longest team. Like I said in our group chat, Jalen Brunson was not going to do well against the 6'9" Canadian basketball army. It just doesn't work that way. I still don't think we win just because our strategy was set up for us to lose. And maybe you have a zone buster when it comes to Quentin Grimes and you can't attack the middle of the defense the way they were. But I just didn't like time after time the way we kept attack because our three best players all want to attack the middle of your defense. And the Raptors knew that. They played very well. And I just think that strategically, I don't think we could have beaten them even if Quentin Grimes is playing.
Isn't he a zone buster that could have helped in that sense?
Like, I want to add really quickly, no pun intended. So a lot of the minutes that Grimes didn't play, Quickly played and Quickly shot the lights out. Wasn't like Grimes was going to do better offensively than Quickly did. Realistically, like Quickly, I don't know what he was, but I know Quickly and RJ were like combined 10 for 17 from three.
10 for 15. Yeah, 4 of 6 for RJ, 6 for 9 for Quickly. Yeah.
10 for 15 for the okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was something like that, but yeah, I just don't see how Grimes would have helped stop them or like helped our offense that much, which was my real concern was like losing Grimes, the offense would really suffer. Rose only played like 8 minutes. So it really was an 8-man rotation. And yeah, no one was slowing down Siakam. So, but yeah, I mean, it could have made a difference. And to be honest, I just want to like cap it by saying the loss to me was really encouraging. Like the Knicks showed a ton of heart and grit fighting back on a back-to-back on largely an 8-man rotation. I think they could have gotten blown out in the game. The turnovers were horrible.
Yeah,
like the turnovers, so many live ball turnovers. They got out offensive rebounded. Like we haven't said that in a long time. Like they couldn't win the boards on offensive rebounds.
A lot of that had to do. Toronto had like 5 in the final 5 minutes or something like that.
Yes,
and Mitch got hit in a place
Mitch was out.
that you don't come back from.
Hartenstein was atrocious.
Yeah, Hartenstein was bad too.
He was bad. Yeah,
I think that's where.
Oh man,
I gotta be honest with you. I think they win. Like you're right. Like it was an encouraging. You don't take a moral victory, but like they were up by 1 despite all the things we mentioned. Like the Siakam going off, Brunson being 3 of 14, getting nothing from your bench unit, all of the turnovers, getting out offensive rebounded, and they were up by 1 with 3 minutes left. Like that's where I go to Grimes being there. They're not playing so outmanned. Like think about this. Julius Randle was a +7 for the game, a game that they lost by 7. And it's because his backup was -16 for the night. Like plus minus doesn't always tell the whole story, but sometimes
that's it right there.
It absolutely does.
Yeah. I will say that I left that game feeling like the Knicks were the better team. I didn't care about the result because I knew that if Mitchell Robinson's in the game, we do not give up like 4 offensive rebounds in 1 possession. That just doesn't happen. I felt like healthy. If we played them in a playoff series, I'm confident we would beat them. Even though Siakam went God mode on us, I don't see him doing that 7 games in a row.
Beat the Raptors in a playoff series? Yeah, absolutely.
they needed all 52 of those points from Siakam.
That happens, right? Like if you play a playoff series and you get one superstar or borderline superstar player who just goes off and just no one can stop them, like you can steal a game that way. But the Knicks were clearly the better team to me, in spite of all the things that we talked about. And then you have Grimes back in over the course of 7 games. I think the Knicks are clearly the superior team to the Raptors. I don't think it's close.
Man, I may be this weird having me on this side of the argument, but like one team has the coaching advantage, and that's not the Knicks, which is why Nick Nurse has been twisting Tibbs' brain into a pretzel ever since he's been playing the Knicks. So you know what? Let's get to the playoffs. Let's get that. What would that probably be, like a 7-10 matchup? Or if the Raptors move up to 8th, maybe it's a 7-8 matchup in the play-in. But I guess we'll find out if that happens in the playoffs.
The last thing I want to say about the game. So the Hartenstein Sims combo did not work last night.
No, it did not.
It has been really good. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in that, honestly.
You don't? Okay.
No, I don't believe in that. I don't think the rebounding makes up for what you lose on the offensive end. It's performed pretty well so far in a small sample size. I'm not really hyped on it. And like I said, I don't believe in it. That's why I think all the Obi is the elephant in the room talk. I think that's really myopic and reactionary to me, and I don't buy into any of that. So
to be clear, I didn't even bring it up because I don't acknowledge it. I don't think you can look at the last 5 games and being like, oh, see, Obi was the problem. No, like they've run into some schedule luck too. The Warriors without Steph, the Hornets without LaMelo, the Bulls with everybody.
3-point shooting is the biggest luck factor that's happened, where teams were shooting below 30% from 3 against the Knicks. And the defense is much better. But the last thing I would just say on this point, because we, like you said, I haven't acknowledged it too much, but it's I don't want it to be
it's under your skin.
It's annoying me now. The idea that Obi is a really bad defender, this is not supported by any statistics at all. Nothing supports this. Every stat. So we talk about EPM. We talk about Raptor. We talk about your favorite stats. What you call it?
Box plus minus.
Box plus minus. Everything shows Obi as a neutral, slightly positive defender. This is consistent across his entire career. There's nothing that supports that he's this horrible defender that's going to get roasted. He can't keep up with none of that stuff. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if that's from his scouting report coming out of college. I thought he was going to be a bad defender when he got to the NBA. What I saw is a pleasant surprise. He's been solid. He's been decent. He's been league average, slightly better. That's what he's been so far. He's not some horrible defender that's going to get exposed and not able to keep up with the Knicks defense. Nothing supports that.
And I look forward to him returning to the rotation when his knee is all better. I do want to
say that the reason why people think Obi Toppin is a bad defender is because every time he gets taken out of a game, it's because of Tibbs overreacting to a bad play he's made on the defensive end. Right. Yeah, but if every time you see a guy get pulled after he makes a mistake on the defensive end, your mind is automatically just going to believe he's a bad defender.
Well, no, I can't disagree. The way Tibbs has handled Obi is the one thing I think anybody that's ever tried to defend Tibbs can defend that. The leash that he continues to give him. The only theory that I'm not even sure I fully believe in, but I'll at least hear out, is the reason Julius has been able to play a little less trying to think what the right word is, but has played better, has played not looking over his shoulder over the past 10 games, is because a fan favorite that everybody's chanting his name and wanting him back in the game and frustrated whenever Julius goes to the scorer's table is not there. I'll hear the theory. I'm not buying it because Julius has been this all season, and it's only the last 8 games that we've seen results, and it's because Quentin Grimes and Deuce McBride are in the rotation, and Derrick Rose and Cam Reddish and Evan Fournier are out of the rotation. That's the correlation I'm making, at least.
Why do you hate Cam Reddish? That's the question.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Speaking of, shout out to the chat. Got over 100 people watching, and we got a super chat from the legend, Jay Boogie. Tonight, we have another team in our building with desperation on their mind. We slept on Toronto. No more slips. Turn the intensity level back up 48 minutes. Then smash Philly on Christmas 2022. Going out like Mike Breen. Bang! Jay Boogie, the legend. Thank you for your contribution.
What a comment. Oh,
what
my
a
goodness.
high level super chat. That's what I was thinking too, Mensa. I was thinking the same thing.
One sentence. This is all one sentence. I love it. I love it, Jay Boogie. Okay, let's get to everybody's favorite pregame betting show. Let's get to betting and sweating. Presented by the fine folks over at WynnBet. Download the WynnBet app now or visit www.wynnbet.com to start winning. Sign up today to receive a special offer. Bet $100, win $100. That's bet 100, win 100 at wynnbet.com. Download, bet, win. How did we do last game? Remind me.
I want to say 2 for 4.
So what was
I knew
mine?
I took a bad beat. I had
You the first.
You had the under.
You had the under. Oh my
under
gosh, that's
218,
right.
And they scored 219.
It was 218 and a half, right?
Something like
Regardless, it was 1 point.
It was 1 point.
Yes.
Over, yeah.
That is a bad beat.
And we smashed our props. You
had
took
a sip.
Yeah, you took
that's right.
PRA for and he had
I
it in like the first 2 minutes of the third quarter. He was already over
points,
40.
That's right. I took points, rebounds, and assists for
Siakam.
Pascal Siakam within the
Let's
first,
be clear, you could have taken like 65.
Exactly. I could have taken an adjusted points, rebounds, and assists. He would have hit it. That's the thing. I think I took 40 was the total. 35 or 40.
Money.
And it was it hit. Let's just say it hit.
And I had Brunson over 5.5 assists,
which you switched to, Mensa.
Last minute, which was great because Mitch did not show up on the glass.
Yep.
So that last minute swap kept us profitable because I think we broke even with your plus money bet, Andrew. Yeah, no, we did a little bit better than even.
And Sean had the first quarter
Bad
money
beat.
line,
and
the Knicks lost by a point. That's right. Okay.
To be clear, I said I wish I could have taken a quickly line like 5 times,
and they weren't available. Yeah.
And they weren't available, and quickly went off. So yeah,
it's all coming back to me now. We were 2 points away from being 4 for 4 that night on Wednesday night. Well,
2 points.
The Knicks were so close to a 9-game winning streak. Unfortunately, they have to start again tonight when they play the Chicago Bulls. The line here presented by WynnBet. The Knicks are -6 against the Bulls. Am I missing an injury that the Bulls have, or are you guys? Should this be -6?
Caruso is out, but
Caruso's out. His ankles.
I don't know what the reason was.
No, that's mean.
Hammer the spread. Caruso is out. Who is guarding us? Oh my goodness.
That is very true. Okay, so Mensa is clearly in favor of this. -230 is the Knicks. If you want to take the money line, 225.5 is the total for the game. Some player props. Let's go down to Jalen Brunson is 22.5 for the game. We went over potential. Hopefully not future Nick. Zach LaVine, 21.5 is his point total for the game. The Knicks expanded points. RG's at 23.5 for the game. Julius at 24.5. DeRozan 25.5. If you go to rebounds, let's see what Mitch is at. 9.5 for the game. Julius coming off what was it? He had 13 rebounds in the last game. He's at 10.5 tonight. Look at the 3-pointers. RJ coming off a 4 3-pointer night is at +210. Brunson coming off his worst game of the season. If he's going to bounce back and hit 3 threes, it's +300. If it's just 2, it's -105. Here's the Julius line. Here's everybody else. Let me see if they have a quickly line. They have a quickly line. Fresh off a 6 3-point performance. 3 of them, which he's done in the last 2 games, is +230. Just 1 game too late. XJ, I'm sorry. All right, where are we going with this? XJ, you have the floor.
So I think I don't usually do this. I like to be kind of even tempered, but I think the Knicks are going to win this game big. I think they're going to bounce back. I think maybe the streak was adding a little pressure. I think the pressure's off. I think Grimes is back. I think Caruso's out. The Bulls have won a couple games in a row. They beat Miami without Jimmy Butler. I don't think that's anything real. So I'm looking at the spread -6. I want to do something bigger than that, actually. So I was looking at alternates.
Okay.
And I'm looking at the Knicks. Maybe something like -7.5 for at plus
Plus
110.
110. So they
I
won
like
by
that.
at least 8 tonight.
I like that.
They can't win by double figures, plus 135.
I think they could win by double figures, but
Could win by at least
bet it.
16. So I will mess with you. 7.5. That's a good number.
7.5. I like
so you're
that.
basically buying a point and a half. I dig it.
Yep.
All right, Mensa, where are you going on this? I should say Sean's taking the under for the game, so he's taking under 225 in this one. So those are our first 2 bets. Mensa, where you leaning?
I like all the player props, but I want to get us back on the winning side of things. So I'm taking Knicks first half -3.5.
Knicks first half -3.5. It's down to -3.
Oh, even better.
Even better. There you go. So you're taking Knicks first half -3. So let's see if I can fuck this up. Okay.
You want Zach
like
LaVine PRA?
Yeah. I do like a Nick prop though. I would like a player combo if I'm going points, rebounds, and assists.
Julius Randle's the guy.
That's literally where I'm headed. Ride with Randle here. 45 seems like a lot tonight.
Yeah.
40 doesn't.
What do we have for 40? What's that? That's
-110. Yeah,
I love it.
-110. Okay. Yeah. Let me just talk this out real quick. Let me just go. That's what I'm leaning at right now. So RJ Barrett to hit 2 threes is -141. Jalen Brunson hit 2 threes at -105. A bounce back game with no Caruso.
He like whenever I go with 3-point shooters, the volume has to make sense. And by volume, Jalen Brunson might take 3 tonight. So you're basically you're asking him to go 66% from 3 to hit your prop. Like with RJ Barrett.
Caruso though, the no Caruso.
So like think about RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett could conceivably go 2 for 9 from 3 tonight. He will take the volume will be there and you can still be right. It doesn't have to be a great game for him. So that's why like I tend to lean volume over like my gut. Again, whenever I have a conversation with somebody about a prop, I'm normally the wrong one. So so Brunson, if you like Brunson too, take Brunson too. I would just be leery of the volume.
I really agree with that. I agree with Mensa. And I think no Caruso actually means more that Brunson's going to be living in the post. Like who's guarding Brunson? Is it going to be like Kobe White? Like that would be a massacre. Like I don't know who's going to guard him, but I think he's going to be in the post a lot. So I think he's probably going to take 3 or 4 threes. If you think he'll hit 50% of them, you could go with it. But I don't know. I don't think he's jacking up a bunch of threes tonight.
Okay. So here's where we're going with this. A bounce back game from Jalen Brunson. Points and assists. I think he gets to 35. There we go. Plus 250 is the number. Points and assists. A bounce back game from Jalen Brunson.
I like it.
All right. There we go. That's our betting and sweating for tonight. So recap. Sean's taking the under at 225.5 -110. XJ's taking an adjusted line, Knicks -7.5 at plus 110. So, okay, hold on a second. Mensa's taking the Knicks first half spread of -3 at -110. If this game's a blowout, because the Warrior game screwed me, because the Knicks were up by 100, and Steve Kerr actually does put up a white flag. So, like, the guys that needed to go back in the game and finish their props didn't go back in the game and finish their props. So
I don't think it'll necessarily be a blowout. I think they just will win comfortably. So I don't know that it's, we're going to see everybody sit and the Knicks are going to win by 30. I think the Knicks could win this game by 10 or something like that.
All right. I'll stick with Brunson. 35 plus points and assists.
And if it is a blowout, Brunson's going to be a big contributor to it early on. So he might get there earlier than like after 3 quarters or something.
I think the Warrior game was also a bit of an anomaly that like Tibbs literally had no idea what to do. He sat down,
he short circuited.
He was so ready to be like, all right, I have to put everybody back in. And it's like, wait, I don't. All right. Everybody that's the worst 5, go out there. Oh, so there's 8 minutes left now. What do I do? And he went and sat down. It was crazy. Okay. These are our betting and sweating picks today, presented by the fine folks over at WynnBet. Download the WynnBet app now or visit www.wynnbet.com to start winning. Sign up today to receive a special offer. You bet 100, win 100 at wynnbet.com. Download, bet, win. Fellas, any final thoughts before the Knicks take on the Chicago Bulls?
Okay. I'm with XJ. I don't think this game is going to be a close one. I don't think it's going to be a sweat. I just don't believe in, like, the Knicks right now they're firing on all cylinders. Even in a game where they lost, they had every chance to win it down the stretch. If it weren't for, one or two bad breaks, chances are we're still we would have won 9 in a row. So a team like the Bulls that's imploding, and everybody in the city of Chicago is basically waiting for the trades to happen at this point and for the GM to get fired. I don't think that is a good matchup against a Knicks team that is number 1 in net rating over the past 10 games, according to Kurt Goldsberry. That's not a good matchup for a struggling team. A struggling team, you want to play like the Hornets right now. Not these New York Knicks. It's the last Friday before Christmas in New York City. The Garden is going to be rocking. I don't see a chance for the Chicago Bulls to win this game. I think the Knicks win, let's say, I like it. Honestly, I think like 113-96 New York.
XJ?
Yeah, I could totally see something like that. The one thing that concerns me is that it's probably pretty difficult to beat a team 3 times in a row. No matter who they are, no matter how bad they are. But I think the Knicks, like, to me, obviously the streak ended, but they still have a streak of 9 games in a row where they played really well, I would say, overall. And to me, that's more important than the actual result at the end of the day. When we're talking about building for the future, when we're talking about building a competitive team, a team with an identity, I think these Knicks have an identity. They play really aggressively. They play hard defense, very physical. And I think we're going to see that tonight. I don't think the streak ending really changes the fact that they've been coming out and playing really hard and aggressively. And I think we're going to see that tonight. So, I think Mensa's score probably will be something like that. I think they'll probably win by like 10 or 15.
All right. Well, from your lips to God's ears, hopefully they get a Friday night Knicks W and start this new winning streak. If you are interested, folks, that tuned in for the pregame show, tune in for the postgame show as well, where I will also be recapping this one. Hopefully a W. The Knicks 9th in their last 10 games. This has been the KFS pregame show, though. My thanks to XJ and to Mensa, or Zach LaVine Trade Slander account. If you dig, then please give them a follow on Twitter. Their handles are in the name tag underneath their face. You can follow me as well, but if you really want to help me out, really want to help me out, head on over to the YouTube channel and give this video a like and this channel a subscribe. It goes a long way. I personally will see you after the game to recap this one. But until next time, thank you for tuning in. Go Knicks, and Knicks Nation, let's ride.